Hello everybody, Simon here from Oakside Salary. Today's video then is a set of Hauptner Electric 2000 clippers. They're quite a nice clipper, quite like these, they're a nice build, sort of a modern version of some of the older styles. Customer reports they just stopped working. So we'll do a few checks, see what we can find, plug them in first, just see if they have stopped working and see what we get. So let's have a first check. I'm going to plug it in. Again, a UK plug, see how we get on and see if anything happens. So we've got nothing there, nothing on a cable, which is quite common for things to go. I've already looked up this cable beforehand. It's got a couple of little bits of damage, but not right through. Last thing I want to do is find a live wire. So they look like they are definitely dead. So before I start to do anything else, we'll have a quick examination of it. And the first place I'm going to look is a plug, purely for the fact it's got a fuse, and if the fuse goes, the clippers stop working. So it's all intact, nothing damaged. UK spec plug, works for a pat test, so that's good. So we'll just remove the first part here and have a nose. So the back comes off quite easily. The screws are normally locked in place. So again, double insulated. The markers on here, that double boxing shows it's double insulated. So we're all good to go on that. So no earth wire. We've got a neutral one, a live one. And looking at this, I can already see one issue because it looks like this isn't actually gripping the fuse. So we'll have a little test of the fuse and see how we get on. But I think we might be lucky and that's loose. So let's check that fuse first of all then, just in case it's blown it. So we're just going to use a multimeter. Nothing complicated. All I'm going to do is turn it straight onto the motor. It buzzes at me if something's right. Quick test then, touch two together, should hear a buzz. There we go, that'll do. So the fuse is here. Another wire on that end, one on that end. Fuse is good to go. So we'll plug these back in, see what we get here then. So I'm going to go from the pin this time. So the pin through to the fuse on this side. Bit of a swing, definitely there. But that is definitely loose. So let's have a little tighten up of that, see what we get onto here. All these are is a little spring in it, they're nothing complicated, so we can squeeze these a little bit tighter just to make sure they've got it trapped. Plug it back into place. If we're lucky, that might be it. Test on there, test on there. Good buzz on that. Get rid of that. Make sure I turn it off because it run the battery flat otherwise. I've never done that before, honest. So let's have a look at these clippers. They're a nice designer clipper, I quite like them. They use sort of standardish type parts. So we'll take the blades off first, I don't really need them. So it's a simple unscrew. Blades will drop out, you've got a tension spring, got a bit of oil on there, a few hairs. Not too bad, all looks good. I'm going to take that apart because I should clean them up. Now some of these are alright, I see it good, doesn't fit over the end. Others they fall apart when you put them together. So I tend to put these back together so they stay in one piece. Clipper head then, you've got a little block in there, that'll be free. If I'm not careful that will fall out. Quite often they hold in until a time when I'm not ready for it. Let's come out. So the drive block, got a circle on one side, little raised part, if you can see that. That needs to go towards the spindle. Again, not too bad, clipper head looks intact. Bearings and bushes are all in there. So we get this head off. Nice little flathead screwdriver. First one's there, second one's there. Now, if you noticed on a flathead I didn't use my electric screwdriver. The reason being is, on flatheads like that, or crossfade, whatever they call them and things, the electric one's really prone to just popping out the side. I tend to do these by hand. So heads off, them screws no doubt will fall out when I don't want them to, so I'll take them out now. You can see our gear in there is all intact. No broken teeth. Never all damaged, just a hair in there. This one's a sealed one. It doesn't blow any hair through these. Some of them they blow the air through the motor and then it blows it out through this head. On this one it doesn't look like it does it unless... No, there's no holes in the back of there. So, head. Now the motor then. We've got our 2 air filters. You can see I've tested these before, so I've repaired these before, but they was due retesting then. Split that whilst I'm out with my fingernail. In October 2021. 2023 now. Just a little bit out of date. So let's take these filters off then. Normal screwdriver for these ones. On they go free. Little tiny screw. They just pull up. They're actually really clean. So it's certainly not an overheating problem. Bit of hair, but nothing bad. On the back as well. Take that one out. Okay, take that screw. They pop out. And again, that one's really clean as well, so nothing bad there. Now these ones, if we look at these, I don't know how well you can see there. Can you see the screws just inside there? Just when you first glance at them, they look like a standard sort of torx type thread. So you can see the 6-pointed star on there. But if we look there, there's a little pin. See if I can get the light on it. A little pin that sits in the middle of it. So we have to use security bits for these. Now, this is where it starts to get strange. That looks standard, doesn't it? And that's a 6-pointed one with a hole in the middle. So that's a sort of a standard security torx one. They are actually even more secure, and they use a specialist part. So this one looks the same, but it's actually 5-point star on it. So because of that 5-point star, most times you can't get these apart yourself. You're going to have the specialist securities bit to remove them. So they can fit in there. The hole, the little stud in there, goes into the hole in the middle and it locks in place there. So let's get them apart and see how we get on. Electric one now. So we've got 5 screws all together. Make sure I turn that to off mode. That's one out. Takes me a bit with it. Second one out. Third one. Decide to keep hold of it. Get it in a minute. And the last one back there. So let's have another little look at these then. So can we see them a bit easier now? So it's a 5-pointed star with a pin in the middle, which stops all your normal standard screwdriver bits and things like that all fitting in it. So say that is a specialist part that fits onto that screw. So don't try and jam these in there. You can sometimes get a little flathead, a little small one in there, but you're not going to do a very good job of it. If you're going to use it, get your proper drill bits for them, screw bits for them. Taking this apart then. One of the issues you often have, which side is everything attached to? And that is always a big problem. The chances are your switch is separate because it runs down. The switch is actually part of that there. So see this part here, it's part of the switch there. We can see that. The wire is going to be screwed to that part there. So when we get this apart, we're going to go for this side up. If we haven't got it this right way round, it'll bring the motor, and there it goes, the motor and everything else with it. Now they're a nice little clipper, nice little motor. It's like a modern version of some of these older ones on them. We've got another couple of security fits on the back there, but they're all the standard parts. Thermo fuse, that cuts the electric out if it was gone. If we press on there, that you can tell that it's not there. Normally this, if it's gone, it will stick out. So it's not going to be that that's causing a problem. They do wear out. So after you've had it go a few times, they stop working. You can buy them. You can get these. They're not too bad. You can replace them easy enough. We've got our wiring coming in. Blue here. Brown over that side. So our live and a neutral. Couple of diodes. This is the switch, which is affected by that. And underneath there, there'll be blimey. Not a condenser. Underneath there will be a capacitor. I knew I'd think of it in the end. A capacitor. What's gone out of my head completely. They do blow as well. So if this is all working up to this point and it still doesn't go, the chances are it'll be that capacitor. Testing them, you have to take them apart to test them. You have to take them off and strip them out. So I may have a look at that a bit later. So see how we get on. Brushes in, now going to pop out of there, so we're going to take them off first. So all we do is lift them up and allow that spring to go through. So brush is pretty good there. Same on this side, we're going to lift it up, just allow it to come out. If they pop out, they tend to go flying and you'd never see them again, so keep spares. Got a couple of little pressure washers at the back there. Little sealing ring to stop the O and to stop a bit of vibration. This motor now is free, so we can lift this up. It just pops out. If we turn it over, we can see there's a hole this side which will line up with a lug on that side. And then we have on the back there our little pressure washers and a drive plate for it. Stops the motor itself washing around too much. And the motor comes into 2 halves. In actual fact, all of this looks really good. So that's pretty clean. Bearings feel good. Bearing this side's good. All looks good itself. Everything in there looks good. No wear or nothing on that. So to get this out, we need to undo these two to free up that wire there, and then we'll test them. It's the same security fittings. So one goes in there. That was tight. One goes in there. Once we've got them fairly free, we can get them off. The same as the other ones, it won't matter, but I will keep them together. Got our cable sheath and our cable protector there. This part here, if I remember on these, just inside there somewhere is a little tiny little plastic clip there that keeps these in place. So if we push that out, there it goes, and the circuit board will come out. So this is our things. Capacitor, that's what I was looking for. The capacitor that's on the back there. Stores, it's like a battery basically. Stores the voltage. In this case it's going to be 240 volt because it's 240 volt running into here. Stores it, smooths it out, makes it nice and go. These normally explode, but you can tell that normally. They normally look really bad, and when they do go wrong they just blow up completely. So we'll have another look then. We'll do a few more tests and see what we get. Hopefully if we get this far and it all still works, I might put them back together and test them to see if that is wrong. So where's my meter again? Oh, we're going to connect up to one of these terminals down here. So I'm just going to hold onto that terminal there on the thing, and I'm going to test the wire onto here. So there's no switch on this part, is there? Go for one or the other. Help if I turn it on. So listen for the buzzer. One there, one there. That worked. Make sure it doesn't go on the other one. Nothing. So let's test the other side. And that works there. So that's all good. What we're going to look at now then is this circuit board itself, and just see where it works to and where it doesn't work to. There are certain things. So this will store electricity, store your voltage in there. So sometimes I have to power this up almost to be able to make it work through it. But we'll see what we get to. So we've got one that runs through there, up under there somewhere, runs round and runs into the back of that. So we'll have one into here. And the other terminal is that thermofuse there. So that's good. So thermofuse to there. Thermofuse should come back out there. That's good. Thermofuse pumps out from here, circles itself round, goes through a little diode up there, works its way back out, ends up back towards the switch. So let's give the switch a test, make sure that's all working. So there's one there, one under there I think. No, that wasn't it. Oh, there it is under there. So the switch is working. Let's have a little try through these, see what we get. So this is going to run to here. So testing this one then. We can sometimes test these on a circuit board. They don't always work, but I need to change what I'm registering it under, and it'll probably just discharge for me and won't allow me to do it. No, it's not going to allow me to do it. So to test that, I'll have to take it off. But I'm going to try it beforehand because I'm hoping still that it was that fuse and that it's not got any problems. So let's get rid of that. So in all then, we have our parts. This is in for a service as well, so I am going to clean these all up. We'll get that hair that's in here out. Oh, couple of little odd bits, often forget them. Sits in here are two little square nuts. They sit in there. Normally I wander off with these, drop them on the floor, hence the reason I've got a couple of bags of spares. And they are what screws onto there. So make sure you take them out. See them? So we'll clean them up, have another go, test it again, see what we get. If we're lucky, we've just saved a few quid and we'll put them from there. So remember to subscribe, like the video if you like it. It's quite a short one this, and not too hard to take apart. Keep your eye open for part 2. Otherwise, have a good day. Speak to you next time. Goodbye.